Scorpio, this is your May 2024 soul story. If you've got a sun rising or your moon is in the sign, you might find this resonates for you as you make your way through the next few weeks. Thanks for joining me on the channel. It's Romy here. We are going to open up your month with the energy of the Page of Pentacles. And this is a month that can be quite stabilizing considering some of the intensity and the flux that you may have experienced this last few weeks. The tone is really about your response, and what's positive here is there's a mindfulness, a moment where you're actually considering, what is it I'm about to say? What am I thinking about what has just unfolded? And what is that next step going to be? And giving yourself permission to just take a beat and really gather up all of the evidence that has just shown itself to you, both cosmically, universally, in the way in which people have been showing up, the things that have unfolded since the eclipse, especially back in April. You know, your emotional response is going to say everything about your growth, about the degree to which your own self-acceptance, self-resiliency, respect, your own self-creation is helping you to embark on this new adventure, this brand new pathway. And so it matters. It matters what you think. It matters how you express yourself and how you consider the steps that you're about to take. And I think, you know, you're going to really start to see through the next few weeks the degree to which you are truly a pioneer in a path of altering and allowing the evolution of energy within your relationships specifically. Of course, we work through our 7th house through Taurus season for you. And, you know, all of those relationships really acting as a powerful mirror, something to teach you. And there's a brand new level of awareness and understanding that you're having this month. Now, Pluto, of course, is stationing retrograde on the 2nd. And over the next few months, you're having this opportunity to reflect around power and control, those addictions, those compulsions, the things within your life that are ready for this absolute transformative experience to happen. And what I really like about the tone of May for you, Scorpio, is you really feel like you're in the mood for things, you know, which is quite refreshing. It's not about putting things off or avoiding things. It's just a willingness to have the hard and difficult conversations necessary, both with yourself and others, in order to clear the air and to really start to put things in place that are going to fundamentally create a change for you. The catalyst has already begun. You know, you're already being asked to accept that some form, some aspect of your life with death showing up is going through this complete rebirth. That will be more clear to you as we move into Gemini season and you're working with that 8th house. But something may feel like it's coming to the point of closure and an ending, which again is why it's so important to take that moment and consider how you are feeling like you want to respond. Now, the new moon in Taurus arrives on the 7th. I really like the energy of this new moon. It feels incredibly grounding. It feels like it's got prospects written all over it for us. So wherever you are directing your time, energy, and attention, and I genuinely feel like you want to address something in yourself, and don't underestimate the power that you bring to a situation simply by acknowledging this needs to change. And if this needs to change, something in me needs to change. And, you know, what we're seeing really playing out, because it's such a powerful manifesting month, is May. You know, when we look at what we desire, more often than what we think or we expect to see, we are going to allow ourselves permission to actually receive that rather than holding ourselves apart from it. Everything that we ever wanted, feeling like we're inches away from it because we just keep expecting things to not really work out in the way that we want or that we hope. And so there's a shift just in terms of how you work with your own laws of the universe, how you perceive what's possible for you in this month. And again, death is telling me that there's a transformative energy that you're having, because what you'll start to notice is the degree to which relationships keep activating you and triggering you in certain ways, you know, across the board, not just personally, intimately, but, you know, within the context of friendships and family groups and community and at your work. And there are key themes that keep coming up over and over again, and you're aware of them. Like, this is not anything new. You're highly tuned in and you have incredible discernment. What we see coming through is that we've got asteroid goddess Pallas Athena going retrograde in your sign mid-month, Scorpio, and she just is going to help to show up and enable like this whole new strategy for something that needs to be looked at again. So it's not something brand new. I feel like you've already put something in place, a plan, an idea, and you're trying to roll something out or make something work, and it feels clunky, like something just isn't quite fusing or working. And so through the month of May, like, I genuinely see that you as I said, are in the mood to kind of figure this out. So there's a dedication and a devotion that you bring to things that's going to be super refreshing for you. And as the energy builds through the month of May, it just gets more and more clear for you, I think, in certain circumstances of what needs to stay, what needs to go, and you're doing it in kind of quite a pragmatic way. So there's less sensitivity, which can sometimes interrupt, because then we start to overthink or allow that sense of paranoia or doubt, or, you know, so all of these things, it's not that you're not necessarily not feeling them, but you're not allowing them to overtake you. Now we've got the energy of the Two Cups coming in, and there's something that you're going to come into harmony with. There's a meeting, there's a uniting of forces, there's an agreeable situation, a commitment formed. Conversations are so interesting and spark like new kinds of debates for you through the course of this month. With Mercury coming into Taurus as well on the 15th, there's a more deliberate way that we're able to connect with one another that actually helps each party to truly understand and show up with empathy and compassion, but also like take responsibility for their energy in situations. And what Taurus really helps to teach us is how to make things sustainable, how to make things enjoyable. Like, we're prepared to do the work and put the work in, but at the same time we also want to enjoy it, or, you know, we're never going to feel like we're thriving or we're creating a life that feels good to us. And so there's something as well in this first part of May that's helping you to reconsider what or whom do I need around me in order to feel elevated, to uplift my life. And, you know, that Venusian ruled energy comes through, and it might mean that there's some shifts and changes you want to make to your environment, your office, you know, something shifting in your relationships, what you wear. Remember that aesthetic energy does matter, you know, like with your physical eyes, you are absorbing and taking things in, and if what you see pleases you, it's naturally going to elevate how you feel in that moment, which all helps to trigger this improved motivating experience. So have a consideration of what can shift or change so that my outlook, my immediate surroundings, my environment, what I cast my eyes upon are, you know, revealing to me, inspiring me, and bringing me that energy that's going to be uplifting. And I think, you know, around that new moon, you'll put some things in place that will also support that. And watch the difference that it can make for you as you move through this month. I also see from a relationship perspective, something needs to change and evolve. And that means that you have to move with the ways in which you've grown. If you're still feeling stifled or a lack of oxygen in situations, it will become incredibly clear through this month of May. And again, that's going to give you pause for consideration of, what do I want to do with this? Like, how am I going to continue to invest in this situation, in this person? You know, what does that mean for me? Not just in the short term, but in the longer term. Is this sustainable? And I think asking yourself that question, if I was still doing this or things didn't change for the next 6 months, the next year, 3 years, like, how would I feel? Where would I be? Because I see you through the course of May having the courage and the confidence to really face and address things and make some key changes in your life. And for some of you, it might be, you know, the most significant overhaul that's been sort of predetermined by how that eclipse has moved through your life, and perhaps already kind of demanded that certain things, you know, end or, you know, completely turn on their axis. So, you know, it's not necessarily feeling as comfortable a process at times as you would like it to be, you know, kind of all coming on your terms. Sometimes we're placed in positions where we have no choice. But what we're definitely seeing come through in this month of May, especially as we gather and we kind of continue to work our way towards Sun in Gemini, we've got some really beautiful astrological conversations coming in to support us. The 18th is notable, where the Sun and Jupiter light up, and there's just this growth-filled, rich soil kind of feeling like this is possible and I can see how this would work, is what I kind of pick up from your energy. You know, we need to remember this is an era, right, of locational independence, of having huge influence and impact. You know, there's digital storytelling, and the cyber connections that exist, you know, fundamentally kind of changed the landscape. And you are adapting, and some aspects of it's easier to adapt to than others, but all of it fuels opportunity, and you have something to share and something to say. And, you know, if you allow it as it's part of the soul blueprint, because it's why you're here in this moment, then it can really lead to this brand new beginning for you. And we have to do things a bit differently. We have to do things in our own unique way, also understanding that, you know, we're continually being prodded, if you like, to let go and release our old expectations of how things should materialize. That includes how quickly things can happen. And May is an interesting month because at the same time as it feels like we need to be quite deliberate in some of the seeds that we're planting about what can support us and how we can survive and continue to thrive in the longer term, which, by the way, Ceres, asteroid goddess, going retrograde in Capricorn on the 14th, is going to be absolutely enabling. She's really showing up to say how to survive, like how to make this work feasibly as you move through kind of uncharted territory and into more unknown, unpredictable energies that are coming through. But then also we come into the Gemini season and things are happening so fast, which includes this culminating energy with the full moon in Sagittarius on the 23rd. And around that time, with that full showing up, I feel like you're about to embark on something that to a certain degree you might be saying to yourself, I don't even have a clue about this. Like I either don't know how to do this, or I don't know where this is going, or I don't know where this is leading. And yet I'm showing up with the best version of me, the version of me that has these desires and is not necessarily looking or expecting, you know, a certain outcome. And as you hold space for that unlimited, unbound experience, you're far more likely to see how things can happen in an exponential way that's just kind of going to blow your mind in many regards. Now, around that full moon in Sagittarius, there's quite a directness, a little bit of a sharp tongue going on. There is some beautiful aspects with Venus coming in, and I do think that, you know, it sort of tempers things a little bit. But the Nine of Wands does suggest something could feel somewhat draining. You might have had to direct a lot of energy into something, especially if it feels outside of your comfort zone. So that full moon might highlight to you, and it might be off the back of some sort of difficult, sharp truths that perhaps could be delivered to you in a way that may feel quite critical, but in actual fact really just reveal what you already know and is something that has to be addressed. And as I said, I think this is a month for you, Scorpio, where I definitely see you addressing things and in a way that you understand is going to serve your highest good and your well-being. Now, in and around that time, and, you know, as we approach Jupiter changing signs from Taurus into Gemini on the 25th, things are happening incredibly fast, and it feels like something could get out of hand very quickly, but it also has the potential, if you like, to show you a vision or an insight of what could be. What we need to be careful of is we could look at that and we could say, well, that's not the vision that I want. That's not something I'm comfortable with. But we're also being shown something that is meant to stretch us and meant to challenge us. You might feel somewhat overwhelmed or even a little bit confused as to the way in which things are unfolding at the end of the month. And remember, Jupiter in Gemini kind of creates this like splintering energy, and it's something we're going to be working with for the next few months, right? So, you know, as things move at lightning speed, we have to sort of decide for ourselves and come to terms with a new appreciation of what our own value system is, because Jupiter will expand and amplify information in Gemini, which means that things are moving so fast that the minute that you kind of find a stance that you agree with or something that makes sense to you, it's completely changed. And if that keeps happening, you're going to feel like, I don't know whether I'm coming or going. So taking a moment, especially in the beginning part of May, to really reevaluate and consider what matters to me, what's important to me, what are my values, and regardless of some of the ways in which things will come at you, of course holding an open mind and an open heart, but realizing that this splintering energy can be incredibly divisive. And you know, we have to figure out what's real, what's fake, what's the truth. And so you have to come in it first and foremost from what's your personal truth, knowing what you stand for and what that moral compass, that's going to help you with some of the possibilities and the options that come through as you're trying to wade through kind of what makes sense for you. As I said though, I think this is also a month where you're having difficult conversations, and that could feel a little draining and could also feel a bit confusing. At the same time though, there's huge breakthrough that comes, and things can then move on very quickly if you give yourself the time and permission to kind of allow that to happen. You know, sometimes we have a vested interest, you know, in showing up and pretending that we're doing the work, and yet not actually allowing something to go to the next stage because it serves us to keep us in that consistent let's go deeper into this. And you know, I think it's one of those months where it's like, how do we actually architect something that is genuinely going to allow for progress here? And you need to ask yourself that question and the things that are coming up for you, so that you don't end up in this you know, constant loop where you feel like you're making progress in the moment of discussing it, and then as you step away, nothing's changed. So we want to see, and we will see, some tangible real manifestations happening for you through the month of May, but it's because of the way in which you're addressing it and the actions that you're prepared to take that go outside your comfort zone, and also demonstrate clearly to yourself and to the people around you, this is my emotional response to the first half of the year. Like, this is what I'm seeing as a result of everything that's happened to me, that's happening around me. And that really helps to define, I think, you know, the way in which you're going to start to take on what comes up over the next few weeks and months, which, you know, feels like it is inviting this kind of complete, I don't know, it's like a change that happens in your life that you would never have foreseen taking place perhaps this quickly, or even at all. But there's something that comes in that feels very unpredictable, but at the same time it sort of makes perfect sense when it eventually settles in and becomes part of your new experience. But you know, there is a requirement for you to have to sort of evolve in order to meet it fully. Otherwise it's going to just not make sense on paper or in any capacity in your mindset either, right? Now, if you're new to the channel, Scorpio, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of my reading. I'm going to talk for another 30 minutes or so. We'll look at a personal card and a relationship card for you as well during that. So I hope you'll join me to hear a little bit more about your month ahead. I'm just going to clarify these cards and see what else wants to show up, the direction that we're going to be taking for you. So we are bringing in Queen of Coins. And we also have Page of Swords showing up here with Death. We have got 2 of Cups, Hierophant. Okay, we've got the Devil energy showing up here, and 7 of Coins. All the decks I use are listed below. You can check out my website, romywiser.com. You're going to find my sacred titles, my book and my deck. Also ways to work with me, and my sacred soul support, which is all the guided soul meditations that I put together to support you on your journey. 4 of Coins. What about this 9 of Wands? 4 of Wands. And another 9 there as well. The air needs to be cleared, and we just need to stop before we go too far in one direction with something. You need to hear that. Knight of Cups. Queen of Swords. Okay. Right, we're going to take a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle. So this is my own deck. If you're new, please check it out over on the website. And let's see what wants to come through here. Queen of Air, Spirit Wolf. We've got Spirit Horse, beautiful. The Gathering, Full Moon, Earth Star Energy. Got a lot of lilac and purple coming through for you this month. A lot of animal energies as well here. Right, let's have a look at the oracles. So these messages we'll explore in the extended for Scorpio for May. What do we have here? We've got Pegasus coming in with freedom, beautiful. Number 22. And finally, the Fisher King's Court, Otherworldly Treasures. Beautiful card. Okay, thank you for joining me, Scorpio. I hope I'll see you on the extended. Have a beautiful month of May. Enjoy. I'll see you again next month.